Today we will be discussing the continuity of functions. So our objective is to examine the continuity of functions. Oops. So let's look at three different examples. In the first example, we have a function where f of c is undefined. And if we look at the function from a to b, then we would say that it's not continuous. Essentially, because if we were to draw it from a to b, we'd have to pick up our pencil to have that open circle. And we can further describe the discontinuity as removable. In the second example, we have the limit as x approaches c of f of x, and it doesn't exist. So we have two different examples where that would occur. In both cases, the limit as we approach from the left is not equal to the limit as we approach from the right. So both of these examples are not continuous and not removable. In our third example, the limit as x approaches c of f of x doesn't equal f of c. So this is not continuous because, again, we would have to pick up our pencil to draw the function from a to b and draw that second little point at f of c. But this is considered a removable discontinuity. So if we look at these 3 or 4 examples and we consider what it means to be removable versus non-removable, we can kind of generalize and say that we have removable discontinuities when our function, so when f can be made continuous, by defining or redefining f of c. So essentially, if we could fill in these holes somehow by redefining f of x at that point c, then we would be okay. So we would fill it in for example 1, or we would somehow move our f of c value to equal our limit value. But in example 2, we have 2 non-removable discontinuities because we can't adjust the graph, or we can't redefine the graph to make it continuous. So non-removable discontinuities can't be made continuous. These are things like vertical asymptotes, or the piecewise with a defined value at f of c. Removable discontinuities are more often holes. The next page of your notes, then we'll look at a few more examples. So for each of these examples, we want to look at the limit as x approaches c from the left, from the right, and just as x approaches c, to talk about whether the limit exists and also whether the function is continuous. In the first example, or in example 4, c is equal to -2. So if we look at the limit as x approaches c from the right, as we approach -2, then the y value is also approaching -2. The limit from the left as x approaches -2, our y values are approaching -2. And since, again, the limit from the left is equal to the limit from the right, we know that the limit exists and it's equal to -2. We also know that this function is continuous. because we can draw the whole graph without lifting our pencil. All right, for the next example, we want to approach c as -3 from the right, and we see that the y values are approaching 3. Then we look as the limit as x approaches c from the left, and our y values are approaching 3. And since our limit from the left is equal to our limit from the right, our limit as x approaches -3 is 3. But this function is discontinuous because there is the hole, and we can classify the discontinuity as removable. Essentially, we can fill it in. All right, in example number 6, we're looking as x approaches -1. The limit from the right, our y value is approaching 0. The limit from the left, our y values are approaching 2, which means that our limit does not exist. This function is also discontinuous. It's not one smooth curve, but this time the discontinuity is non-removable. We can't quickly fill it in. All right, looking at example number 7, we need to sketch a quick graph of our piecewise function. All right, so as we look at our piecewise function, we see that it goes through, or it's defined by the line x minus 2 when x is greater than or equal to 4. So if we plug in the x value of 4, we get a y value of 2. And then we know that it follows a line with a slope of 1 off into infinity. When we look at the second piece, we have 1/2 x squared minus 4. We know that that's a parabola. When we plug in the value of 4 for x, we get a value of 4 for y. So that'll be an open circle up here. We know that it goes through 0, -4, and that's actually your vertex. And that it has a vertical stretch of 1/2, so we would go up 1/2 and over 1. So we have a little parabola that's going like that when our x values are less than 4. Now we can start looking at the limits because we have a quick graph. So the limit as x approaches 4 from the left, we know that our y values are approaching 4. The limit as x approaches 4 from the right, our y values are approaching 2. So the limit does not exist. H of 4 is equal to 2 because the piecewise function is defined at x equals 4. And we know that this function is not continuous or discontinuous, and that this is a non-removable discontinuity. All right, for our last example, we're looking at this absolute value function. And we've talked about these functions before, how when the argument in the numerator and the argument in the denominator are the same, we end up with our y values being 1 and -1. And the question is, at what x values do they switch from 1 and -1? Since our argument is x minus 1, we'll set that equal to 0, and we know that x equals 1 is the value where we go from a y value of -1 to a y value of +1. So we have a quick piecewise function that looks like that. Then we look at our limits. The limit as x approaches 1 from the left, our y values are approaching -1. The limit as x approaches 1 from the right, our y values are approaching 1, which means that our limit doesn't exist. unfortunately, based on the definition of this absolute value function, g of 1 doesn't exist. G of x is not continuous, and it is a non-removable discontinuity because there's nothing that we could rewrite in our g of x function that would somehow make this continuous. So just as a quick recap, there are 3 ways that we break continuity. If the function is not defined at c, if the limit doesn't exist at c, or if the limit exists but is not equal to f of c. Here's the formal definition of continuity, and just a quick reminder that functions can be continuous on an open interval, so a specific part of it, or they can be everywhere continuous if the function is continuous from negative infinity to infinity. And then I included the existence of a limit just as a reminder that a limit only exists if the limit from the left is equal to the limit from the right. All right, let me know if you have any questions.